The political battle over the proposed carbon tax continued today, but with the government and the opposition swapping roles. Tony Abbott accused the government of running an unfounded scare campaign, and the government attacked Tony Abbott's policy on climate change. Political correspondent Tom Eagleton has more from Canberra.
Sydney radio station 2GB's singing Tony Abbott's tune.
And you minor, it won't flood there either. It's exaggeration.
The song's a response to government ministers and advisors who've been warning coastal residents of the dangers of rising sea levels.
Howdy, folks.
The opposition leader says it's a new sales technique for the carbon tax.
And they're changing the subject by trying to go back to the alleged disaster that will befall us if we don't do whatever we're supposed to do.
And he's giving the government a taste of their own lines.
Julia Gillard has been accusing others of running a scare campaign, and now she's got her own people saying that they'll be inundated if the carbon tax isn't passed.
What's the heat coming on?
The Prime Minister does seem to be warming to a new emphasis on her carbon tax campaign.
Oh, the last thing Mr Abbott ever talks about is his climate change policy. I mean, does anybody really believe Mr Abbott's got a climate change policy that stacks up?
How her policy stacks up is becoming clearer with the release of the carbon tax legislation this week. There's to be a watchdog to ensure businesses don't underreport the carbon they're emitting.
So we will have a tough cop on the beat with tough powers to go after any businesses that are thinking of ripping people off.
This is a draconian new police force chasing an invisible, odourless, weightless, tasteless substance.
How are you, Tony Abbott?
It seems it's a case of good cop, bad cop. In the past, Mr Abbott's advocated an international version of the government's plan.
Without a dependable carbon cop, Australian businesses might easily end up spending vast amounts on permits generated overseas for abatement that's never actually happened.
That's remarkable to me that he would criticise powers to make sure Australian families don't get ripped off.
And lovers of political theatre might be forgiven for feeling a little ripped off today as well. Wherever Malcolm Turnbull goes these days, he's asked about his difference of opinion with Tony Abbott on the subject of climate change policy. Now he says, show's over.
Steady on. Look, I'm here to talk about the NBN. You know my position as a member of the Shadow Cabinet. I support all of our policies.
Well, it's not his job to talk about the whole range of policies. It's his job to talk about communications policy.
Nobody has gagged me. I'm ungaggable, I can assure you.
Mr Turnbull, can I just ask...
Beyond gagging.
Making us so depressed.
Promise that may have the opposition leader gagging. Tom Eagleton, Late Line.